Welcome to the Three Girls, Three Guys sports media podcast, where five voices and one mic come together to make zero boring takes. Today's roundtable portion, we are talking about marginalized communities within sport media and just sports as in general. And we have some exciting takes, so buckle in, get ready, grab a snack or something. All right, so I'll go first. Oh, also, we're missing Kayla, by the way. We miss her so much, but she couldn't be with us here today. So,
So
you
technically, it's
might
two girls.
exactly. So, we're changing the name. Two girls, three guys. Hopefully, she'll be back with us for the interview portion, but we will see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get right into it. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about being a fan as a female. Um, Basically, being a fan of sports as a female means like having to prove that you're worthy as a fan, prove like your knowledge. In my experience, saying that I'm a fan of a certain team or a certain sport, I've always been met with like, oh yeah, when's the last time they were in the championship? Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I actually don't know, but I'm still a fan. Like, it's always like, you know how like you see you don't want to wear like a band t-shirt out because somebody's like name five songs right now.
Yeah.
It's that same vibe. That same vibe.
And I feel like that's the same with Clemson too. Someone's like, "Well, when's the last
Yes.
time you're in?" Like,
Exactly. Exactly. And so there are a few like two incidents in particular that I want to talk about that kind of just like sum up the female experience in sports. The first one, bringing it back to hockey because I just loved hockey so much. They have you guys ever heard of the Kachuk brothers?
I've
Okay.
heard
Yeah,
I've
played for Team USA.
Yes, yes. Um, they have a podcast called the Wingmen Podcast, I want to say. And I think it was a in the past. They had a podcast episode where they were talking about how weird it was for to hear other people outside of the sport use hockey lingo. But then they went a little bit further, and one of the Kachuk brothers said that they just find it so weird and off-putting when female hockey fans use hockey players' nicknames. Um, and as you can imagine, that did not go over well. Nobody was happy with that. And it just kind of female hockey fans, like as a whole, were like sticking up for themselves. Like, why would you even say that? Half of, there are a lot of female hockey fans, especially now, after the Olympics, after, just a lot of pop culture has brought female fans to hockey. And that did not go over well at all. The second incident is also hockey related. Look at me go. Um, During the Olympics, both USA hockey teams won gold, the female and the male. Also, the Paralympic hockey team won gold.
mm,
We just got it like that. Anyways,
that
real.
we're beasts in hockey apparently. After the male hockey team won gold, they were in the locker room, just having a great time. They were on the phone with, listen, some government official. Who knows, honestly. If you want the specifics, you can look it up. Um, and they were they said something about, guys, we have to invite the female hockey team too, like kind of poking fun, like, oh, we just kind of don't want them here. And the entire hockey team laughed. And again, as you can imagine, that did not go over well. Especially with a lot of the female hockey players on the Olympic hockey team. They came out and said just how kind of discouraging and disappointing it was just to be like joked about in that manner. And a lot of the male hockey players have like came out and, said that explain their side of the story, said it was a misunderstanding or just outright apologized. But there have been multiple instances where female fans have been alienated just simply because they're fans. They're not, the good old boys. Um, it's just really there needs to be a reduction in the stigma. Anybody can be a fan of anything. And yeah,
I mean, yeah,
that's my take.
kind of going off of that. I mean, I feel like I've seen some like stats that like talk about like why so many girls like quit their high school sport, like quit doing sports before high school. And I feel like it's just going off that stigma that like like people don't care about women's sports and that like have that they're like irrelevant, which is completely not true and stuff like that, which I feel like now media has the ability because there's so many platforms, whether it's through X or TikTok or stuff like that. Like reading from the chapter 31 Billings and Hardin article, it talks about how new media can have the ability to market people and like their accomplishments to a whole wide variety of audience. So I feel like if we're able to like market as much as we do with all the male sports with female sports, I think it would go a long way with just kind of making it making it more inclusive to everyone. I mean, it would be just better for sports in general. I mean, n- I don't there should never be a reason where people shouldn't feel included or feel as if like they're kind of getting singled out as a group. So I mean, I think if we continue to push it through all push just like inclusion, like you don't need to know every single fact about every single team to be considered a fan like you were talking about. So I mean, if we're able to make a change with that, I feel like it could definitely have a really strong impact on youth sports in general and making it to the fact that like we're gonna see these numbers of girls and continuing their high school careers doing sports and just continuing to see those numbers rise and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also feel like marketing to female fans, especially like younger female fans, is like a huge opportunity because,
Mm,
speaking from experience, like once I like a player or like a team, like I'm like riding for that team. Like I'm especially with like a lot of fangirl culture. Um, I mean, just there is like a huge opportunity there, and I feel like it's missed a lot of times.
absolutely.
Yeah, that happened. Do y'all remember in like 2017, 2018? Cam Newton was asked by a female reporter something about like what routes do you like to throw to? And his response to that was, it's weird to hear a woman talk about routes. And
Yeah,
he lost like all of his sponsorships. Everybody was like mad at him. He had to come
yeah,
out and apologize for it.
Love Cam. That
yeah,
was messed up.
Yeah. He explained himself that it was not a great look.
yeah, yeah. Who wants to go next?
I'll take it.
Perfect.
So next, I want to talk about some commentary language and how that deals with stereotypes. So basically, do y'all ever just turn on the TV and let's say you watch a football game, and on one side there's a black QB, and on the other side there's a white QB. It doesn't matter if the black QB has like a higher passer rating, more passing touchdowns, more yards, or whatever. All you're going to hear sometimes is, "Man, that guy's really great with his legs. He's a real true dual threat." They don't talk about his arm. They don't talk about his game IQ. But if it's a white QB, you hear, "Oh yeah, great locker room guy, real leader," and stuff like that. And I've
Cerebral
been hearing
thinker,
stuff like that, especially. What do you say?
cerebral guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Gym
been
rat.
hearing, yes, sir. Real weird terms like that. And then, speaking of Cam Newton, since we're on the topic, back in the day, it was like October of 2017. It was the Panthers versus Patriots. It was like week 4. It was Cam Newton versus Tom Brady. And when I think Tom Brady threw a pick or something didn't go his way, and he was basically just throwing a tantrum on the sideline. You know what I mean? And I forgot who the commentator was. I don't know if it was Tony Romo or someone else. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's the real passion. He still got that fire in his old age." But a few like a quarter or two later, Cam Newton was a little upset, and they're just talking about how angry he was. It's just stuff like that that makes all the difference, and that's really bad because commentators and broadcasters, they really shape the perception of the viewers, and yeah, and
Yeah.
also talking about the Olympics and paraplegics, they use terms like that too, like for the Olympics, it's like, wow, that's amazing and dominant and awesome. But for the paraplegics, it's like, wow, they've overcome so much. They're so mentally strong, and just like subconscious stuff like that really does make the difference.
Yeah. Um, there's also an instance going back to the Cam Newton thing. Serena Williams was playing in a match and she was angry about one of the calls, and I think she maybe smashed one of her rackets or something. And you see that with like other females or other males in the sport. But when she did it, it was the media like was brutal to her. There were like a lot of uh, like cartoons. Do you know like the political cartoons that it's like making fun, like the satire cartoons? There were a lot of those that came out that were just like poking fun at her and saying it was an overreaction, and you know, especially being a non-white female, there was a lot of pushback from that, but it's something that's seen like a lot within every single sport. So it's interesting to see how the media and also commentators react to different players.
Yeah. I feel like when everyone thinks of marginalized communities, I think of like gender, race, and stuff like that. But like another big thing I feel like is money. Because like lots of sports, like people think sports are like this equal playing field if you're like talented and you work hard. But like it's also honestly like money plays a huge role in like who gets a chance to compete. And like if you look at youth sports, like everything is so expensive, like so expensive. Like I know my siblings are on travel teams and they have tournaments every weekend, and then people will want to pay for like private coaching or something, and it's just so much money, and like not everyone has that opportunity to like be able to get that like coaching or that experience of like really, what's the word? Trying to think of the word. Competitive, like different levels of competitiveness. So it's just like if you can't afford it, you're kind of like, what do you do? Like you still want to play or you want to still go to the big leagues, but you can't afford like the youth sports. And I feel like that's just also a big thing that no one really thinks about as much. And the same with like scholarships and people getting to play for college. Like there could be some really good athlete, but he didn't get a scholarship and he doesn't have the money to go or something, but someone else might, and then they get to go instead. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's
you got
go
it.
ahead.
You got it. You got it.
All right, appreciate it. I think that's especially true with like a lot of youth soccer academies. What I mean, people say like Americans like aren't that good at soccer, and it's we're not the best. It's not our best sport, and a part of that reason is due to like you have to pay so much money if
mhm.
you want to go to the MLS, like with all the camps and stuff and the academies, and just get recruited. Like sometimes you have to pay like, I think, have y'all heard of NCSA or something like that for like college recruiting?
I haven't.
It's like an organization where like you pay to like get your name out, which
Oh, okay.
sucks.
Yeah.
Well, on a more positive note, as far as race and gender goes, it's getting better. The WNBA
For
is,
sure.
I mean, it's picking up for sure. They just started a women's softball league as well, like professional, and even in the NBA, I mean, you're seeing more players, not from America, and sometimes they're the best players. Like you look at Luka, he's from Slovenia, Nikola Jokic, Serbian, even Denny Avdia, who's from Israel. He's averaging like 30 points a game right now. So I feel like it's definitely moving in a way to where it's not, race based, but it's more based on talent and what you can do on the court or on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball's kind of been that way for a while. You had like a bunch of, Latinos that are, I mean, typically they're on MLB rosters and the number's only growing. I mean, you see, well, Venezuela just won the World Baseball Classic. There were a bunch of other teams that had people that had like non-Americans competing and not just competing but contending as well. So the number is probably going down as far as just being white or being male giving you a leg up on everyone else. But as far as the race goes, it's becoming more talent based. I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like I feel as though we're seeing an improvement, like you mentioned earlier, in like the gender gap. Not just like as competitors like playing the sport, but also like jobs in sport. A lot of I was doing research trying to find an interviewee. And a lot of the social media managers that I came across for the NFL teams, they were often female. Um, and I was looking through like the staffs and the staff list and stuff, and I was, kind of shocked at how many like women I saw in the sports, how many like CEOs and things like that I saw on the roster. So I feel like we're definitely getting somewhere. Also, isn't there an owner of an NFL team who's a female, a
Yeah,
woman?
I feel like it's like the Colts or something.
I think like the
Oh
Lions.
yeah,
I think you're
yeah.
right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Although her reception, like the way that people are um commenting on the fact that she's the owner, because did you guys see like the TikTok videos of her? Well,
Is she
maybe you
on the
didn't see it
field?
on TikTok. She's on the field,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
taking
We're talking about.
notes, and people were like being really rude. But I feel as though if I were an owner, I feel like that's a good thing, is it
It
not?
is.
Like
Yeah.
to get to
Definitely
know
is.
like the sport, the
And
team that you're playing. Like,
the Colts were doing like really good for a while, and
yeah,
she's kind of the one that made that happen. She
yeah,
went out and got what Daniel Jones, who was terrible on the Giants, and then he was cooking on the
Yeah.
Colts. And before he got hurt, they were what first in the AFC for like the first half of the season.
yeah. So it's getting better. We're getting somewhere at least.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everybody? Did everybody go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think everyone talks,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening to this part of the round table. We're gonna talk with somebody next time. I don't think you know
Surprise.
what? We're gonna talk to a great interviewee. We're gonna have some great they're gonna have some great takes. We're gonna continue the conversation. Maybe Kayla will be there. Maybe she won't see her until the next episode. But I don't know. We will find out. But anyways, thank you for listening. See ya in a minute. Welcome back to the podcast. We have an exciting guest, and we're really excited to, ask him some questions and get to know a little bit more about what he does. And yeah, so Eli, if you would introduce our guest, and then we'll get started with the interview.
Yeah, I'd love to. Our guest today is Silas Brendle. He is a creative and a producer with Baylor Athletics, specifically for Baylor Plus, and he's also a close personal friend of mine. So, Silas, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us how you got into photography and social media management?
Yeah, so obviously I'm Silas. I am a creative in Waco, Texas for Baylor Athletics, primarily in Baylor football. That's where most of my time is spent. Just a little bit about me. I grew up in Anderson, South Carolina. I grew up a Clemson fan at heart. Um, Still am a Clemson Tiger, just a Baylor Bear for now. But I fell in love with it at a young age. My sister is a wedding photographer. So I got to hold a camera when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, and then just fell in love with the camera. And then, as all editors did as kids, if you really loved it, you started on iMovie, and then you just started playing around with it, and then you fall in love with it more. And then I think I bought my own camera when I was in 11th grade, maybe, and then I made some terrible videos for the high school, Teal Hannah, around here, and then went to Anderson University freshman year, and then they let me be on their like student team of creatives for athletics. Didn't really have a big role. Just did what I could as a student, multitasking a lot of the work that you have as a student, plus doing some creative opportunities. But found my angle where I could, and then fell in love with it more. Got into it, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and then my sophomore year, so since it was a D2 school, there wasn't a ton of media coverage. So I went up to the men's basketball coach and I was like, hey, I've got my own camera, would love to cover y'all in all ways I can, grow my portfolio as well as help show the world this basketball team. And he let me do it, and he gave me the reins as a 19-year-old, which is kind of crazy thinking back now, but forever grateful he did do that. And then from my sophomore year into my senior year, I was in charge of video, photo, and graphics for the basketball team. So pretty much a full-time job as a student, but getting thrown to the fire helped. I learned a lot quickly, as well as balancing student activities and stuff I had to do and grades. But it was a fun time. And then coming out of college, applied, did the whole job circuit, and landed at Baylor. And now I'm full time creative. Still learning, but it's awesome.
Can you describe your position at Baylor a little bit?
Yes. So my full title is I'm a content creator slash Baylor Plus producer. So at Baylor we have there's a team dedicated we call it our long form content. So we're making documentaries, we're doing full game recaps. We sit down with players, we interview the players after the games, ask them what they're feeling during their games, like what storylines they had going on. I mean, to think of one we just did, me and David, the other guy who's in a job one step above me, he's the executive producer for Baylor Plus. We just did a whole documentary on the Baylor acro and tumbling team who's won 10 national championships in a row. So we did a full documentary covering their 10th year, and then just their 10 years of dominance. So it's a little small taste of what I do. But right now we're in football spring practice, and that's ramping back up. And DJ Lagway just uh, transferred to Baylor, so that's one big story right now. And he's a cool guy. I got to film with him this past week.
Nice. It sounds like there's a lot of aspects to your job. Can you tell us like what your favorite part of your role is?
Uh, there's a lot of stuff, but I will say the environment I'm in. So my office it's a big layout, like a just an open space, and I'm around 8 of the other creative. I think there's probably 12 to 15 creatives in total at Baylor for athletics, but I'm around 8 of them. So we're always talking, just shooting the shit, playing music, just having a good time. But I mean, obviously we're working, but
Yeah.
when you've got your people around you, you're friends with it, it makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I guess I could go. What would be your like biggest piece of advice for someone that wants to get into that type of space? Like, how did you go about networking, going from a school like Anderson to now working for a really big school like Baylor? What would kind of be your biggest piece of advice?
First off, you got to build your portfolio. I would think I had extensive work, which I probably didn't at the time, but that's how it works. You just keep on creating, keep on making. If you have that portfolio, it definitely does help. The more a boss is going to see, okay, he can go cover the men's tennis game at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. Like he
Mm,
can do all the small things so that when you are successful at the small things, they can trust you with the big things.
mm,
Um, so just that in itself, and then two, and then One thing my boss taught me, which is it's a basic way of life, but don't just build connections, build relationships. Because if you can keep relationship with a higher up, they're gonna want you a lot more than just saying, "Hey, I'm this guy, I can work." But if you actually get to know them, like one of like my biggest boss at Baylor is 40 years older than me, but we talk every day, and it's like
Yeah,
I mean, I taught. This is kind of crazy or funny, but I taught him 6'7". Like that's our relationship.
that's funny.
So yeah, those are the two biggest things I'd say.
Awesome. Thank you.
Going into relationships, how would you say like your relationships with the players around you like affect the type of content you make?
Oh yeah, that's huge. So a lot of the time when you shove a $10,000 camera in an athlete's face, they're not just going to open up like off rip. So I'd say, um, I mean, they're human beings too. Just you can legit just talk to them. I think there's the persona of they're in their own world, which they are in their own world, but they're 20, 21 years old, just like you. So find ways to slide in some just like pop culture references. Just talk about them about what's going on in the world. Just I mean, most of the guys I talk to are nice. You are gonna have your occasional guy who shuts down and just does the questions or just does what he's gonna ask. But with players, just find your way, and then if you have one thing you can relate to, just talk to them about it, and then just be a good person to them, be a friend. Um, that's most. So if I'm ever interviewing a person or a player, usually the first 5 minutes of the interview is just us talking, just me saying, "Hey, how's your day? What's going on? Like, how are you handling this?" And then once you kind of can build that rapport of talking back and forth, then you can start going into your actual interview. So it's like it flows well. Because if you just open up, start saying like, "Hey, how is this, this, and this?" They're gonna feel a little bit blindsided. So just build it up.
Yeah. Mm. Do you, so like when you're creating like stories and like things like in posts, do you ever feel like pressured to create like a more viral content instead of like meaningful content? Or like what's your balance between that?
In the sense, are you saying like what if I wanted someone to go viral, pretty much?
Yeah, like yeah.
Um, I don't know. The algorithm is really weird. Most of the time, the stuff that you put 5 seconds into and you say, "Hey, just post this," that's the stuff that goes viral, not the I don't even know how many hours I put in that documentary, but uh, the hundreds of hours you sit down making sure the color grade's right, the audio levels are perfect, this person's framed right, and yes, that stuff does viral, but um, most of the time it's just random. You don't know what's going to work, what's going to go crazy, what the media is going to see and quote and make it go viral. So I would just say I wouldn't worry about going viral. Just make what you want to make, and if it goes viral, it goes viral. So I don't really have that pressure. I just create how I feel and how my bosses let me to.
Mhm.
You've mentioned a couple different sports. Which one is your favorite to create content for?
Football, I mean, obviously football. I get to run the gimbal for when the football team runs out. So I run out with the football team, and I'm in the middle of there. And sometimes you get hit, or like not hit, but you're holding a big old gimbal, and they're going to run into it. But it's fun. You kind of feel like a player when you run out there. Music's playing, you run out with them. But that's pretty fun. But I do enjoy basketball though because that's what I grew up on. That's what I played. That's what I worked for 3 years at Anderson. But obviously, those are the big two, but yeah, I like both of those.
Cool. Is that everybody? Does anybody have any more questions?
Um,
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for, allowing us to interview you. Um, yeah, any final thoughts that you want to add or anything you want to maybe plug?
Shoot. Oh, seven. Yeah, I'm starting a brand. That's not important. You can follow me on Instagram if you will. I don't know for anyone who's watching this. It's just my last name, Brendle with two L's. Um, but yeah, keep up with Baylor if you guys want. It's pretty fun. But hey, are you guys all trying to work in sports, by the way? Or just taking this class for Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all
Okay.
like
Okay.
what sports media. Like I'm sports communications
Okay.
major, and I think everyone else is something sports related.
Are y'all more so creative or more so like press junkie, um, like
Um,
broadcast side?
I'm I'm a strat comm major, so kind of neither, more like the logistics of
Okay.
like communication stuff.
Okay.
But
I'm yeah. I'm a finance major, so like I was more just having this like sports comp probably as like a minor because I kind of wanted to get into more of like the business part of sports.
Yeah, I want to go into like sports marketing, so like the marketing side more.
Word.
Yeah, and
How
as
about you, Liam?
I want to do
I'm an
broadcast.
accounting major, but yeah, I'm also like trying to learn about the business side of sports. I think that'd be cool.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. NIL is changing everything. Just so y'all get a little
Yeah,
print.
no, it's crazy to see what's happening.
Yeah, that's a lot of the stuff I deal with too. Even as a creative, NIL, you got to make sure that the athlete's getting paid before you even talk to them. So maybe not air that out, but we'll cut that part.
Yeah.
But it's fun though. Sports is fun. It's a new day every day. That's what I always say.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, constantly changing.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
thanks
you.
for
Thanks
letting us
Thanks for
in.
being here.
Thank you guys for watching this video. We had some really good conversations, so I hope that you guys, got something out of it. Got you got some advice from Silas, and we were talking about marginalized communities earlier. So, I hope you got something out of it, maybe, possibly. Yeah, but there's one more installment. We've got it. One more after this. We can do it.
Or
One more. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in like a couple weeks, I guess.